Whether it's veganism, exercise, yoga, prayer, spirituality, meditation, like to me all these things work in conjunction with each other. My approach to making music is certainly healthier now than it was 5 or 10 years ago.
My name is Eddie Stern. I'm a yoga instructor. Stretch the arm. If I see a place where yoga would be helpful and someone invites me to do something, I say yes. That's all there is to it. What is your name and your profession?
My name is Moby. I'm a musician.
Can we talk a little bit about how our emotions are trapped in our body, and any experiences you've had with doing yoga that has helped release, emotional states in you which have made you feel better?
For me, the emotional component of yoga, there are a few different aspects to that. One is just sort of, if I'm doing a practice that centers me, increases strength and flexibility, I simply feel better. I feel a sense of accomplishment, short-term, long-term accomplishment. There's this one pose that someone told me is called Virasana, and it's basically you get down on your shins and you sort of lean back between your knees. And the first 10 times I did it, I had honest-to-goodness panic attacks. I guess around the 10th time, I just started laughing. And so this same pose that gave me panic attacks, like huge panic attacks, now is very comfortable and restorative to me.
Are panic attacks something that historically you had some problems with?
Really, I mean, all my life I've battled anxiety disorder and panic attacks, and realizing that through work and exposure to certain things, I can almost like transform the panic attack. And like if something triggers a panic attack in me, by exposing myself to it, by working through it, I can change my relationship to it. Seeing it demonstrated in this one specific yoga pose was really remarkable.
Can you describe your approach to life before yoga and your approach after yoga? Any differences?
Okay, so my approach to life before, during, and after yoga. Before, I could just, I guess best summed up as sort of like a fear-based tightness. A sort of like my approach to myself, towards other people, towards the world was kind of tight and defensive. And then that's also been manifested in the yoga practice, because at times in my yoga practice, I've been wanting to like conquer my yoga practice and be the best yoga guy I could. And seeing some of these issues manifested actually in the yoga practice has been helpful as well. And now, I think generally, it seems a little trite to say this, but I'm more flexible, both physically, spiritually, emotionally. I mean, one thing I've had to learn is there isn't an aggressively right way of doing things, I mean, I think that there are advantageous and disadvantageous ways of having a yoga practice, and for me, having a tight, controlling yoga practice doesn't do me any favors.
It's almost a process of using yoga as a mirror to see what's wrong with us, right? And then we can begin to work on it.
Well, one thing that I've found that's been really helpful is there was a period, because I did kickboxing for a while, and when I did kickboxing, I sort of hurt my shoulder and hurt my wrist. And for a while, I was doing a much more aggressive yoga practice, and it was really exacerbating these injuries. And my response for about 3 months was to do more of it. I was like, oh, I'm going to conquer these injuries. And they didn't go away. In fact, they got worse. And so I've actually had to learn some sort of like evidence-based gentleness with myself to say like, oh, you know what? I've hurt my shoulder, I've hurt my wrist. Simply, at this point in my life, there are things I can't do. And being patient with that, saying like, oh, this is my physical body. It heals, and I can either help its healing or inhibit its healing. And learning that there are some specific things I have to stay away from or things I have to do more of in order to sort of facilitate healing.
How has yoga supported the changes in your lifestyle, and what is your day like? What's your lifestyle now like that you've added these things in?
Well, my lifestyle now, I've been a vegan for 25 years. So even when I was a crazy falling down drug-taking alcoholic. Luckily, I was still a vegan, which I think is one of the reasons I don't look like I'm 300 years old. So whether it's veganism, exercise, yoga, prayer, spirituality, meditation, like to me, all these things work in conjunction with each other. So my approach to making music is certainly, I think, healthier now than it was 5 or 10 years ago. And I'm certainly certain that yoga has a part in that, but I can't separate it from the other sort of like healthy lifestyle choices I've made. And also not kidding myself, like I could walk out on the street today and get hit by a bus. Like I'm not doing yoga because I want to like live to 500 years old and be young and beautiful for the rest of my life. It's simply, I enjoy it. It makes me feel good. And I think it increases my chances for having a happier, healthier life. And creatively, I get a lot more work done and I'm a lot happier with the work when I'm healthy as opposed to sick and hungover. But I didn't want to make everyone get up from their seat, so I crawled under the table, and in crawling under the table, I popped something in my back. I just think it's kind of ironic that I hurt my back at a lunch with yoga teachers at a vegan restaurant.